Every single one of us has met one of those guys who, no matter what he says or does, girls always seem to be chasing him. And as a young man, this was the type of guy who caused other guys to secretly hate him because he was just that good. It was almost like he had some sort of superpower when it came to attraction. Yet, when you looked at him, there was really nothing that stood out in terms of his appearance. And in fact, if you were to compare his physical appearance to most other men, you would find that he was probably average at best. And there's nothing really special about him. Yet there was actually something really special about him, or at least a really effective attraction style that is typically reserved for only the rarest of men. And this is exactly what you're about to learn. Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again because it's so incredibly important to understand. In life, oftentimes it is the littlest changes or the smallest tweaks that can have the biggest effect on the outcome. There's a reason that they say big things come in small packages, and this works well to describe the importance of the tiniest little details that most people typically miss. In a few days from now, a new president will be elected for the United States of America. And in pretty much every case, the election is usually won by just a handful of votes. And it's that tiny number of votes, or those tiny little details, that will decide the next leader of the free world. And like the tiniest changes that control the outcome of our election, a small tweak in your attraction style could make all the difference in whether or not girls see you as a 2 or a 10. So let's get straight into it. Something that I remember pretty vividly in high school were the guys who most other guys secretly hated, or the guys who had a pretty awful personality yet always seemed to have girls chasing after them. Many of these guys are textbook bullies and have a variety of psychological problems, but somehow they never seem to have any trouble attracting females. And despite all of these shortcomings of these men, they manage to regularly get all of the attention from all of the girls that you like, and that even includes the good girls. For so many really nice guys in school, the thought of girls choosing these types of guys over them was incredibly exhausting. Guys who just want to quote-unquote treat girls right would get incredibly jealous and angry when they see these awful guys walking down the hallway with girls practically tripping over themselves to get to know them. A lot of guys, after seeing this play out in high school, basically give up on trying to be attractive and trying to get attention from females because they think to themselves, if that is what girls want, then I don't want any part of that. And so they give up and they go back to playing video games for another 15 to 25 years or so. I remember a long time ago, I used to actually think like that myself. I would constantly think to myself, what could girls possibly find attractive about these arrogant, cocky, physically unattractive men? But it was only once I looked a little bit closer that I finally saw what was really going on. And instead of getting jealous or angry, I actually learned from it. And what I wanted to do was to basically emulate their secret attraction strategy while cutting out all of the BS that comes attached to it. Whenever we feel hate towards somebody, typically what is actually happening is that we secretly want to be more like that person. Or in our heart, we secretly like that person. In high school, so many guys can't stand the types of guys who seem to do incredibly well with females, but at the same time, those same men secretly wish that they could be the guys who they appear to hate, or at least be able to get the same results as them. So what is this secret attraction style that is used only by the rarest men? If you look closely at men who women find insanely attractive, what you'll see is that most of them have a very specific type of attitude. And this attitude, or style if you want to call it, is key. And the problem that most guys face is that they tend to fall too far to one side of this style, so they are either too nice or too mean, with the majority of guys being too nice. Now, the attitude or attraction strategy that the most successful men use is the perfect balance of cockiness and confidence. Because if you're too mean, it simply doesn't work. And if you're too nice, it also does not work. Now, the guys who other men secretly hated in high school deploy a simple attitude consisting of a little bit of cockiness and a little bit of playfulness. That's it. No tricks, no gimmicks, just an incredibly effective attraction style that any guy can use right now. Some would call this style playfully arrogant, but whatever you want to call it, the bottom line is that it simply works. One of my friends that I knew back in school was always with a pretty girl, and I could never understand why they regularly chose him over other guys who were far better looking. And at the time, I believed the myth that you had to be physically attractive for girls to like you, and I thought that that was really all that mattered. These days, I like to just laugh about it, but a few things that I noticed about my insanely successful friend was that about 80% of the time that he was interacting with girls, he was smiling and speaking to them in a playful, slightly cocky, or slightly arrogant kind of way. Now, a lot of the time, he would basically tease them or say something that was a little bit insulting, and while they would look at him and say something like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you just said that," secretly they were actually becoming more and more attracted to him. All that these guys were ever doing was acting in a playful, slightly cocky kind of way. And the reason why this works so incredibly well is because it shows not just women but also men that you have the confidence to playfully insult someone while not really worrying about what they think of you. Now, at the end of the day, we all know that girls look for confidence. Confidence is like the ultimate primal trigger for attraction, and the playful/cocky attraction style that these men use produces all of the signals that a man would show if he is confident in himself. And like anything else, practicing this attitude towards not just women, but life in general, for long enough, will allow it to become a part of you. And after it becomes a part of who you are, you will just do it naturally. And naturally, you will become more of the type of rare man that girls are always chasing and who other men want to be more like. This is the one secret attraction style that is used only by the rarest men. And with that said, until next time, thanks for watching.